And many high school seniors are facing a daunting task, choosing a college. That decision has to be made very soon, in fact. So with us today to help de-stress the challenges of choosing and paying for college are Aaron Green and Gina Jacob of College Liftoff. Someone explain for me first, College Liftoff. Gina, what would you encapsulate that? What is it?
We help families plan and pay for school. It has changed dramatically since we were purchasing school 25, 30 years ago as parents.
Yes.
So the process has changed. We need a new set of rules to follow, and we guide the families through the entire process.
So it's not just that you're doing the guiding, you're also financing in some way, or helping them figure out the financing?
Everything from budgeting to understanding how funding and financial aid works, and adding all that transparency to the process so that they know how to find the funding to pay for school.
Aaron, has it gotten more difficult, more confusing, or were we just before we were oblivious to it because our parents were doing it, not us?
It's a very different process than it used to be.
Okay.
Now with $1.3 trillion in student loan debt out there, and school costing between $80,000 to $200,000, this is a student buying a house in a span of 4 years. And so when we're looking at this in a different way than we were then. And now this is really about the investment in the education. How can a student really go and actually buy an education? And how do we get the most return out of it? So when you're talking about buying something of that magnitude and that heavy, it's a lot like buying a car.
Right.
When you think of it, you're not going to go spend the same amount of money for a Toyota Corolla that you would for a Porsche, right? But we're doing that for college on the exact same price point. So we're overspending for that education based off of what that student wants to go to school for, knowing that we can look into what those future salary trends are going to look like and helping the student find career paths by doing so. But if you take on too much student loan debt for that career path, then where are you in this? If you're walking out with a $30,000 career and you have $60,000, $70,000 in student loan debt, that's not livable.
I heard that the other day. In fact, it was school teachers in particular are having a really difficult time when you cap out the income that they have and put that up against what it took to get there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really frustrating.
We illustrate that for the student and the family. You know, if they're going to come out being a graphic designer or a teacher or an engineer, what is their potential earning income? And they have their least powerful years, the first 10 years out of school, to actually pay back their loans. So we have to use that starting number to have a threshold for debt. So that they know what they can live on and that they're not going to be forced to live with 17 roommates or go, move in with mom and dad.
So dad or mom will say, we really want you to be a doctor. Can you be the buffer in between that conversation if the child comes and says, I just have never wanted to be a doctor?
Yeah.
Do you get involved that way also?
Absolutely, 100% yes. This decision has a lot of facets to it. It has a lot to do with picking the right school academically for the student, but making sure that the career path is correct for the student too. We focus a lot on the financials and making sure the investment is right, but I would say for me, for our advisors, the time that we spend with our students and particularly, most of it, if not 67% of my time, is spent career developing with kids. And it takes a while. There is no one test we can slide in front of a kid and say, this is it.
Right.
This is what you should be. And so sometimes when parents make that, suggestion, I'll put that lightly, but some kids will come to us and say, I know I want to be something.
Right.
We'll vet that as well. We'll push that and say, let's talk about a doctor, but let's talk about the whole field of healthcare and what it is today.
Great.
And what you should be looking at and considering.
If I had $1 for every time my daughter had said to me too, Mom, I just don't know what I want to study. I just, and I think that is so hard.
It is hard.
Yeah, but you can help match what their grades and probably their personality type and everything to a career.
I'll tell you, there's 3 things to career development with a student. And actually, it's easier to do it at this age than it is as a grown adult. Time, knowledge, and research.
Okay.
That's what it takes. Those 3 elements. And making sure that when you take that concept of doctor and you see, okay, that's one field. But then there are all these fields that go around in the allied health profession, such as radiological science, biomedical science, respiratory therapy, athletic training as an example. These are all fields that exist that are healthcare professions at the bachelor's degree level that the student really hasn't considered before because they just don't know it. We look at Ohio State, they have 177 majors.
Wow.
How can a student even begin to penetrate that?
So you guys are happy to help them out in that cause and find the correct match for them.
Absolutely.
The correct match.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it. And right there on the bottom of the screen, you'll find out how you can find out more about College Liftoff, and maybe some of the cobwebs can be blown out and help people know where these kids need to be navigating toward. But thank you both. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.